This will be take 2. I'm going to start with a nice comment this time. I think it's nice. I'm not sure. Waptech, you're the smartest person I've come across on the net. You haven't looked around enough. I'm also sometimes called the craziest. You haven't looked around enough. Not sure if you have access to Australian federal websites or the time and or interest to research what I say, according to me. Section 11, subsection 1 of the Currency Act 1965 in Australia. All Australians are sinners, including me, who has gone through the steps of showing that I only use money under duress due to the lack of viable alternative. My life has been extremely difficult over the last decade because for some reason ignorance of the law is a valid excuse for overthrowing the Constitution here in Australia. Personally, I crack it at people who try to get me to focus on another country's politics, so I don't mind if you have no time to check what I'm saying, but I think both our countries affect the other more than people imagine. My country seems to be registered in Delaware, which is in your country. I would love to hear your view on the topic. Australia became a copyrightable and a trademarkable and a service markable word mark only after it was used by a bunch of companies. The Australian government did not require that you make chain link fence, Australian for bear. The word Australia and Australian were used in advertising a lot, and many companies called themselves Australia this and that. Same thing with the US government names, like Federal Express or FBI Donuts. There's a bunch of companies that use names that sound official. They don't belong to the US government, and in many cases the US government made them pay a fee, just like your country did, or made them stop using a name like that. Like China. That's a name also, phonetically, that is used for a type of pottery that you see on a table. It's called China. The word Chinese means all sorts of things. London can be used. English is the name for many things. But if you use it with the stripes and bars and stuff that they use for their flag, and you put it on anything you want to, technically the English government, the United Kingdom, has the right to sue you in court. But the whole thing is you're not supposed to make it confusing so people believe that your name, service mark, or trademark is actually representing some country, a sovereign nation. The United States of America, the United States government, and the Australian government, and the Australian Commonwealth, or whatever you want to call these, all these different names that are used for your country and my country, have all been turned into the names of companies or products so many times that essentially there's no real good reason and no precedent to sue anybody. But occasionally it's done. Yes, in Delaware and many other areas, specifically Delaware for some blasted reason, you can find people getting away with doing this because Maryland, for instance, allows you to sue a person for breathing. Have you ever noticed, if you're an American, that many, many court cases to try to get you to pay some money you don't owe money to are filed in Maryland? The Oregon State Legislature noticed that and made it legally restricted for any court case to affect anybody who is a born and bred Oregonian. What happened is that state, like Delaware, allows you to get away with something that's bombastically stupid, like copywriting the name of Vienna sausages. I don't know if the Australians and Austrians should get together and complain about their names sounding similar too. No, it's not owned by some company. It just isn't. It's really that straightforward. But yeah, the all Australians are sinners assertion, I'm not going to go there. But I will look that up. Thank you for the information. That'll have to be your 5 minutes for the day because I've got a long-winded howler monkey over here to deal with for next. But here we go. Next one. About a shooting that happened in Texas that got me flagged mysteriously by people who didn't like me posting a video, and actually, for some reason, they think I'm on #1. We're #1. You really think some guy is going to get fired, call law enforcement, and then go on a rampage? It'll spark gun control conversations, like they ever go away. and then go away until the next one. It never goes away. People are talking about this constantly. You guys bring it up all the time. If you don't want it talked about, stop talking about it. They're all so predictable. So are you. Because you and your friend, there's 2 of them now. There's only 2 on my channel because I think they figured out this was a bad thing to crawl into this spider hole. And I'm the spider. You realize that coming here, I'm just going to point out every time you follow your fucking script again and again and again. Random guys leaves a manifesto on the internet or calls law enforcement before a rampage. Discovered he had an AR-15 or some other semi-automatic sporting rifle. Then there's a kid and the hero who either gave his life or was injured saving others. So you're now vilifying people who protect children. And you don't know that semi-automatic sporting rifle and AR-15 just means normal gun. Nobody has any idea who these people are that did the good thing. But when someone is known beforehand, you say that's proof they're a crisis actor. And if nobody's ever heard of them, then they're still a crisis actor because you'll say they look like somebody famous. There's no winning with you. I can't win with you, honey. Why are you always angry at me when you come back from the whorehouse? I'm not that bitch. Nor am I yours. On top of that, I'm on top. On top of that, there's the same people at every shooting because you need new glasses. I make these for $19.95. Actually, this is a $5 set. This $5 set of glasses I made, I'm not saying brazing rod was involved. I'm just saying it should have been. Oh, I can't wait till I live indoors again and have a welder and a torch and some quality time. But anyway. Anyway. You're an idiot. Let's just do the AR-15. If anybody's not aware of this, what do you imagine a gun doing when you pull a trigger? Okay. Now afterwards, how do you fire it again? Think before you type. If all of you said pull the trigger again, that's a semi-automatic rifle, just like the AR-15. That's what semi-auto means. You pull the trigger, it fires. You pull the trigger again, it fires. Well, that's supposed to be a pistol. Suddenly everybody's trying to backpedal that you shouldn't improve a rifle. You shouldn't make it fire when you pull a trigger, and also you shouldn't make it to where it has all the other features you need, like a push-button safety instead of having to stick a metal block in or something, or having it to where until you pull the trigger there is a block covering the surface where the firing pin would be hit to travel under its own inertia, making the gun harder to go off if you drop it. A gun that doesn't go off when you drop it and always goes off when you pull a trigger and only can be told not to do that when you put a safety on is called a normal gun. Everybody thinks of normal gun when you describe that. And then when you point out that's the description of an AR-15, they lose their minds or something. Want to see how I got these scars? Look, any of you dickheads out there calling it's a sporting rifle. No, it's just a fucking rifle. There's nothing unusual about it. Oh, well, there is. Tactical. Let's make our rifles look scary and piss off the liberals, who in some cases vote. I think people who make a gun look tactical should be required to have a Hello Kitty gun for the rest of their life. Anti-camo. Anti-tactical. Or have me make a gun for them. That'll take it all out of them. Oh boy. I don't make guns. I make boat anchors that go bang. I like guns that you can't break, even if you want to. I am tired of this argument. No, an AR-15 is not an assault weapon. It's a scary looking gun. Make it not scary, you won't call it an assault weapon. It's purely not based on its functionality. I'm sorry for all of you. And no, a cartridge that necks down is just simply more efficiently made. It's not more deadly. Okay, there we go. Let's go on to the next one. Let's get this guy done. Let's poop this one out. Same comments, essentially. Here's what I've realized about Wabtec. Okay, here we go. Is he going to call me a Jew, a shill, or both? And it's totally not stereotypical trying to drive a wedge between Americans because you're an anti-American little shit. You work for the deep state government. The deep state government was an assertion made about the government of Turkey. I do not have feathers up my butt. I am not a deep state turkey. Or a basted turkey. Or a master basted turkey. See, I said it right. This is why it's take two. The FBI said he called them. I didn't say that. I left a link to you in the description and in the comment section so you can read that story if you want to. If you want to rail against it, that's fine. I haven't covered it. This is a shooting. I'm not going to cover it again, except you guys keep bringing it up. It's absolutely comical to listen to your lies, WAPTech. I'm not lying. I said what I posted is what I was able to get at the time. Are you saying that wasn't what I could get at the time? Then you're going to make a claim here. At first I thought you were talking about the other shooting, because the news and police reported that seconds within the occurrence of it. The Odessa shooter never worked at the company. That's a fact, because I called them and asked. So they told you over the phone they didn't know who you were talking about, and that means he never worked there. Don't believe me? So be it. But I called the funeral home as well as the FBI, and they took his obituary offline because people were leaving ugly comments. Conspiracy theorists were going through his obituary and getting pissy. Thank you for telling me that you harassed the police department into obeying your wishes by removing something from the internet. Wouldn't you know, when I called to ask why did you take the Connor Bates obituary off the website, lady simply didn't act mad, but simply said, can you hold 30 seconds later because people are leaving ugly comments. Yes, that's why if you go to a obituary and people are wishing the family to death and screaming crazy crap like you are, they might take it down. Personally, I would just send the police to all of your houses and say, stop posting online, you're harassing a family, and they're pressing charges against every motherfucking one of you. I don't even know what the hell you're talking about here. I'm not going to bring it up. I'm not your bitch. So anyway, here we go. I asked why she didn't know what to say. I've got the conversation on recording. My point is, obviously, your point is that you and a group of people were able to affect the world around you by being obnoxious cunts. That's literally the entire point of the video now, isn't it? He also claimed you called in and they didn't know he worked there. Okay, I've worked at a bunch of companies. They're not going to know when you call them that I've worked there, because it was years ago. How many of you work at a place where nobody recognizes you because you're so boring and ordinary? That's actually a pretty big problem. By the way, I'm a computer security geek and a company geek when I did security. It's very common for that to happen because people just don't pay attention. Or the new guy you talked to wasn't working there at the time. Or whatever. Or maybe not my department. I don't know. You don't know either. But you're jumping to conclusions you started off with weeks before. You had a conclusion before the shooting happened. Maybe you're part of the conspiracy because you came here with a conclusion before a shooting happened. You're the one with the predictive programming problem. I was the only person to call? No, I doubt that, but honestly, you might have called the wrong number for all I know. You posted a bunch of shit here that doesn't make sense. She had put me on hold because she didn't know why they took it off. Maybe they didn't tell her. Maybe, but if they all know why it's taken down, that's a sign of the conspiracy too. There's no such thing as a non-conspiracy proving statement for you. You live in a world where you have to have confirmation bias turned up to 11 forever. I'm not even going to look into this. You have to provide proof to me that you exist. You post a video showing your face. You explain your motivations. And you tell me the last time a shooting you ever heard of wasn't suspicious. If you can't find one that wasn't suspicious in this world where shootings happen all the time and never cause a gun grab, then I fucking don't want to talk to you. If you're this biased, you're an idiot. You have been drummed into this. You need to seek some fucking help. Someone who is in the Witness Protection Agency, lie all you want, but your point about the Illuminati doesn't exist, just fuck it. Look, you're calling me a liar for repeating something I looked up. Okay? If I look up the diameter of the bottle, I'm a liar because I get it wrong or because the website that had the measurement was wrong. But I'm the liar. You just told me that we are lied to by the public media, social media, cops, YouTube, and Wikipedia. But I'm the liar because I repeated their information. No, I'm trying to find the answers like you. And you're getting mad at me because I'm not starting off with the same preconceived notion you started off with that morning. You have an axe to grind. And you know what's funny? You're dull. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.